Imagine this. You have the perfect business idea. You can almost see yourself running it, serving happy customers and watching the money flow in. But then reality hits. You need funding to start. And suddenly, it feels like standing at the bottom of a huge mountain with no climbing gear. How do you raise the money to turn your idea into a real business? That is exactly what we are going to uncover today. And stick with me until the end, because I will reveal a funding option most beginners completely overlook, yet it could be the key that gets your business off the ground. Number 1. Start with your own savings. The very first source of startup funding is often the simplest, your own money. This could be money sitting in your savings account or cash you have put aside for emergencies. Using your own money means you do not owe anyone. You keep full control. Think of Sarah, who wanted to start a small bakery in her town. She had saved $8,000 over 3 years. That money was enough to rent a small shop, buy an oven, and open her doors. She started small, but within a year she was making enough profit to expand. Of course, the risk here is obvious. If the business fails, your savings are gone. That is why many experts recommend not putting every single dollar you own into the business. Always keep an emergency fund aside. Number 2. Ask family and friends. It may feel awkward, but many small businesses begin with help from loved ones. Family and friends can lend you money or even invest in your idea. The benefit is flexibility. Unlike banks, they might not demand strict repayment schedules. For example, Mike wanted to launch a landscaping business. His uncle gave him $5,000 with the agreement that Mike would pay him back within 2 years, interest-free. This gave Mike breathing room to grow. But there is a warning. Mixing money with personal relationships can cause conflict. If you borrow from family, always put it in writing. Create a simple agreement that explains how and when you will pay it back. Number 3. Business loans from banks or credit unions. Traditional business loans are still one of the most popular ways to fund a startup. Banks and credit unions lend you money, and you pay it back with interest over time. Here's the catch. To qualify, most banks want to see a solid business plan, proof of income, and good credit history. If you are just starting with no track record, it may be tough. But some banks offer small business microloans for beginners. For example, the Small Business Administration in the USA works with banks to guarantee certain loans, making it easier for new entrepreneurs to qualify. Imagine starting a coffee cart. A bank loan of $15,000 could cover the cart, permits, and initial supplies. If your plan shows how you will sell enough coffee each day to repay the loan, the bank may say yes. Number 4. Business credit cards. This one surprises many people. A business credit card can act as short-term funding. You can buy supplies, pay for marketing, or cover small expenses quickly. The advantage is speed and flexibility. The downside is interest. If you do not pay off the balance quickly, debt can grow fast. For instance, a graphic designer might use a business credit card to buy a new laptop and software. As long as she pays the balance off with her first few client payments, she avoids interest charges. Number 5. Crowdfunding platforms. Websites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo let you raise money directly from the public. You post your idea, explain your vision, and people pledge money to support you. The beauty is you do not give away ownership or take on debt. You are basically pre-selling your product. If enough people back your idea, you get the funds to launch. One famous example is the card game Exploding Kittens. The creators set a goal of $10,000. They ended up raising over $8 million from more than 200,000 supporters. Of course, not every campaign goes viral, but even small businesses have raised thousands this way. Number 6. Angel investors. Angel investors are wealthy individuals who put money into new businesses. They often invest in exchange for equity, meaning they own a piece of your company. Let's say you want to start a tech company that builds an app. An angel investor might give you $25,000 to cover development costs. In return, they might own 10% of your business. The good part is they often bring not just money, but also advice and connections. The downside is you give up some ownership and control. Number 7. Venture capital firms. If your business idea has the potential to grow very big, venture capital might be an option. Venture capital firms invest large amounts of money into startups, usually in exchange for a significant share of ownership. Think of companies like Uber or Airbnb. They did not grow with just savings and small loans. Venture capitalists poured millions into them, fueling rapid expansion. But here's the reality. Venture capital is not for small neighborhood shops or local services. They usually look for tech companies or businesses that can scale globally. Number 8. Grants and competitions. Did you know there are programs that literally give you money to start your business? These are called grants. Some are offered by the government. Others come from private organizations. Unlike loans, you do not pay grants back. For example, the USA government offers grants for businesses in certain industries, like renewable energy or education. Local chambers of commerce often run pitch competitions where the winner receives prize money. In 2019, a small food truck owner in Texas won $10,000 in a citywide competition. That money allowed her to expand into catering. Number 9. Business incubators and accelerators. These programs not only give you some funding, but also mentorship, office space, and access to investors. Think of them like training camps for startups. Y Combinator, one of the most famous accelerators, helped launch Dropbox and Airbnb. But even at the local level, many cities have incubators that support small businesses. Joining one can give you a strong network and a better chance of long-term success. Number 10. Partnerships. Sometimes, the best funding is not cash at all. It is teaming up with someone who brings resources you lack. For example, Anna wanted to start a clothing boutique, but had no money for inventory. She partnered with a local designer who provided clothes up front in exchange for a share of sales. Partnerships can reduce startup costs dramatically. But like family loans, they require clear agreements to avoid conflict later. Number 11. Side hustles to fund your startup. This one is practical for many beginners. Instead of borrowing, start a side hustle and save the profits. Drive for a rideshare service, freelance online, or deliver groceries. Imagine you earn an extra $500 each month from a side hustle. In 1 year, that is $6,000 you can invest into your business without debt. It might take longer, but it keeps you in full control. Number 12. Equipment, financing, and leasing. If your business requires expensive equipment, like ovens, trucks, or computers, you may not need to buy them outright. Companies offer equipment loans or leases. This means you pay smaller amounts over time while using the equipment. For example, a food truck owner might lease a truck instead of buying it up front. This reduces the initial cash needed to start. Number 13. Supplier or vendor financing. Some suppliers are willing to give you inventory now and let you pay later. This is common in industries like restaurants or retail. Imagine you open a convenience store. Your distributor might give you drinks and snacks on credit, expecting payment after 30 days. By then, you have already sold the products and can repay them. This type of financing helps reduce the upfront burden. Number 14. Home equity loans. If you own a house, you might be able to borrow against its value. This is called a home equity loan. It often has lower interest rates compared to business loans. But remember, your home is on the line. If your business fails and you cannot repay, the bank could take your house. So this option should be considered very carefully. Number 15. Online lenders and fintech platforms. In recent years, new financial technology companies have made business loans faster and easier. Websites like Cabbage or OnDeck can approve loans in days, not weeks. They often have higher interest rates than banks, but they are more flexible. For a beginner who needs quick cash to buy inventory or pay rent, this can be a lifesaver. Number 16. The hidden funding option beginners overlook. Remember at the start, I told you I would share a funding option most beginners miss? Here it is. Local economic development programs. Many cities and counties want to support small businesses because they create jobs. They offer low-interest loans, grants, and even free training programs. For example, in Detroit, the Motor City Match program has given millions in grants to local entrepreneurs to open shops, cafes, and service businesses. These programs are not always heavily advertised, which is why many beginners do not know about them. but they can be the golden ticket. Number 17, franchise financing. If you want to start a business but do not have your own idea, buying into a franchise can be an option. Franchisors often have partnerships with lenders who provide financing specifically for new franchise owners. For example, fast food chains like Subway or cleaning service franchises often connect new owners with banks that specialize in franchise loans. This way, you not only get funding but also training and a proven business model. Number 18, peer-to-peer lending. Peer-to-peer lending platforms connect borrowers directly with individual investors who want to lend money. It cuts out traditional banks. Websites like Lending Club or Prosper allow you to apply for a business loan and multiple people can fund portions of it. For beginners, it is often easier to qualify compared to a big bank loan. Number 19, community development financial institutions. These are organizations created to support small businesses in underserved areas. They offer loans with flexible terms and lower requirements. For example, a community development financial institution might help a beginner entrepreneur in a rural town get a $10,000 loan to start a grocery store where there is none. Number 20, barter and trade deals. Not all funding comes as cash. Sometimes you can exchange services. If you are a web designer, you could build a website for a local print shop in exchange for free marketing materials. These kinds of deals save money and reduce the need for outside funding. It is creative and works especially well in small communities. Number 21, retirement account financing. Some entrepreneurs use their retirement accounts, like a 401k or IRA, to fund a startup. This can be done through special arrangements without paying early withdrawal penalties. It is called a ROBS, or rollover for business startups. But it comes with risk. If your business fails, you could lose your retirement savings. Still, some people use this method to access larger amounts of capital quickly. Number 22, customer pre-sales. One of the smartest ways to fund your startup is to get customers to pay before you even launch. You can offer early discounts or exclusive benefits to people who buy ahead of time. For example, a yoga teacher might sell memberships for a studio before it opens. Those pre-sales give her the money to set up the space. Number 23, corporate sponsorships. If your business idea aligns with a bigger company's goals, they might sponsor you. For example, an eco-friendly clothing startup could partner with a fabric manufacturer that wants to promote sustainability. Sponsorships can provide funding, resources, or free products in exchange for brand exposure. Number 24, in-kind contributions. Sometimes people or organizations give you goods or services instead of money. A landlord might offer discounted rent for the first 6 months to help you start. Or a local business group might let you use office space for free. These contributions reduce your costs and act like indirect funding. Number 25, cooperative funding. Co-ops are businesses owned by a group of people who pool resources. This model is common in farming, retail, and even grocery stores. For example, several farmers may form a cooperative to share equipment and marketing costs. This spreads risk and lowers individual financial pressure. Number 26, government-backed microloans. Apart from traditional loans, the Small Business Administration and other agencies offer microloans designed for startups. These loans are usually under $50,000 and have easier qualification requirements. A new daycare center, for instance, might get a $20,000 microloan to buy toys, furniture, and licenses. Starting a business can feel overwhelming. But as you have seen, there are many paths to funding. Whether it is your savings, a supportive family member, a bank loan, or even a community grant, the money is out there. The real secret is matching the right funding option to your business idea and personal situation. So let me ask you this. If you had to pick one funding option from this guide to start your business tomorrow, which one would it be?